Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am so excited to film this video today. I wanted to film this video for probably like 3 weeks. If you haven't noticed the pile of books in the background, I'm doing a book haul and I'm so excited. This is my first ever book haul. First of all, you probably have noticed I've been like a little bookworm the past couple of months. I've just like really got back into reading. Whenever I was younger, I used to literally read like 2 or 3 books a week. I would just like fly through them. I would read like any kinds of books, like fiction and also self-help books. Like I've literally been reading self-help books since I was like 11. Like not even joking, like literally reading about relationships and stuff when I was like 11. Kind of fell out of the habit of reading for a while, for like a few years, but I'm back into it. Like literally I'm obsessed. I literally want to talk about the book that I'm reading all the time. Like Dervla and Mommy are sick of me because I'm constantly like, wait to hear what I read today. Anyway, I went on Book Depository. I'll leave all the links in the description. I went on to Book Depository a few weeks ago. I bought 15 books. There's like a range of books here, to be honest. Like they're kind of random, some of them. Like sometimes I just buy a book, I'm like, I feel like reading that. I'm just like drawn to it. Most of them are like relationshipy because I'm on like a relationship book kick at the moment. I obviously got back into reading after my breakup because I've always like found such a comfort in books. I think it's so important to like read self-help books even if you're not going through anything, because you can constantly be like learning about yourself and about other people. And I thought it was really interesting the last day, Sinead Hegarty, I feel like I talk about her so much on my channel, like it's so weird, but Sinead had up, like she was talking about like relationships and books, and she said like if you really love someone you should be open to like reading about relationships and learning about relationships, because it literally helps so much. Like I know from reading over the past few months, like some of the books that I've read, like it has helped me like so much understand why my previous relationships, whether it's been romantic or friendships, haven't worked. It literally has like opened my mind up so much. I feel like I have such a better understanding of myself and like the people I'm around. Anyway, that's like my little ramble over. I'm gonna get into the books. I'll show you what I'm reading at the minute first. I started this and it's quite heavy. Like it's quite like intense, so I decided to start reading another book alongside this because I can only read a few pages of this at a time, otherwise my brain would actually turn to mush. It's Dissolving the Ego, Realizing the Self. This definitely won't be for everyone. I don't even know if it's for me. It's kind of about like how we aren't our body and we aren't our thoughts, we are just like a being. It's very complicated, honestly. Don't think I would recommend it. Like there's some good bits in it that I'm like, yeah, I can resonate with that, but there's a lot of it that I'm like, oh my god, what did I even just read? But I am enjoying it. Like, you know, I do like to read different things as well because I don't know, I feel like you can learn something no matter what you're reading, and like even the language in it, sometimes I'm like, I have to read things like 3 times because I'm like, I have no idea what that means. So don't know if I'd recommend it. Probably the worst book I started with, I promise. Like the other books are more interesting. This is just intense, and I thought it was going to be like a nice little easy book to read. I was so wrong. The next book is Big Magic, Creative Living Beyond Fear by Elizabeth Gilbert. I don't know anything about this book. I just saw someone talk about it on TikTok. So I was like, I'm gonna buy it. It's basically about like tapping into your creativity, which is obviously so important. Everyone has creativity. I know some people say that they're not creative, but like you are. I remember learning in college, we talked about creativity and how like there's so many different forms of creativity. Like cooking is creative, like being in nature is creative. Like it's not just necessarily like painting and drawing and like music, it's like everything. Okay, next book is The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. I find that so hard to say. This is by the author of The Mastery of Love, which if you watch my videos you know I was like obsessed with for a few weeks, and also still am like best book ever. I literally will pick that book up and reread the highlighted bits like just randomly, because like it's so good. It gave me so much insight into like self-love and also like relationships. Like it was such a good book. We already have this book. We've had it for literally years, but I just wanted my own copy because I like to highlight things, so it's nice to have like a fresh copy. Again, this is probably similar to The Master of Love, but it's more about like letting go of self-limiting beliefs and like just being like content within yourself. So yeah, I just wanted my own copy because I just love highlighting. Next book is another one that I saw on TikTok. I saw this boy talking about it and it just sounded really interesting, so I bought it. It is The Tibetan Book of Living and Dying. And it's again another like spiritual book, I suppose. It talks about like meditation, karma, death and rebirth, and just like the journey of like spirituality. It seems like it's going to be quite heavy. I'm a bit intimidated by it because like it's so big and the writing is so small. Like books like this scare the shit out of me because I'm like, it's gonna take me so long to read. I have like serious commitment issues that I'm like, if I start reading this book, like it's gonna take me so long to finish. I'm gonna have to like stick with it. Like I'm gonna have to be so ready to read this. But I think it'll be interesting. We'll see. I'll keep you updated. Okay, next book is Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. I have never read this book. I can't believe I never had this book before because it's like the OG relationship book. Like it's in every movie, like genuinely. And I feel like everyone has read this except for me. And we have like probably 200 self-help and relationship books in this house, and this was not one of them. So I was like, why haven't I bought this yet? So I bought it and I'm currently reading it and I'm really enjoying it. It's really, really good. Yeah, it's really easy to understand, and like some of the things I'm like, yeah, obviously, but I'm like, how did I not know that? How did that not like register in my mind before that that's like, you know, how things work, how relationships work? But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. Like I'm looking back on like my previous like romantic relationships and I'm like, whoa, like it makes so much sense now. Like how did I not see it? Okay, next is The Light Between Us. Definitely not one for everyone, but it's something that I've always been interested in, which is obviously the afterlife. My beliefs change constantly about like the afterlife and like where we go, what happens to us. I'm just like really like open to like everything really. So I thought this book would be really interesting. She's been getting like messages from like the afterlife since she was a child, so it talks about like her journey with that and like the things she's learned and stuff. So I'm really interested to read this and see what she has to say. And it says stories from the afterlife and lessons for the living. I think it's going to be a nice book. I'm so excited about, I feel like I've said that about all of them. I'm like, I'm so excited. I always say I wish I could just download books into my brain. Like I love reading, but like I love information more, so I'm like, I just wish I could just download them, like plug myself into the book and like it go into my head. So this is Attached, which I'm sure you have all heard of already. I've been reading about like attachment styles for a while and like listening to things like podcasts and stuff about it, but I thought I better bloody buy the book and actually read it. A lot of the books that I have read like about relationships in the past few months have mentioned this book, so I was like, I need to buy it, like, and I need to read it. Like, why haven't I read it yet? So I'm really excited to read this. I feel like I know a little bit about attachment styles now just from reading different things and listening to different things, but I'm really excited to actually get like a proper like in-depth like understanding of them, because I feel like I've just like skimmed the surface of it. Like I'm like convinced that I'm like secure, or that I was secure before my relationship, but I'm like, maybe I'm not. So I'm interested to see what I think after I read this, because like I've always been like, yeah, I was definitely secure, and like now I think I'm avoidant, but we'll see. I'm excited. New Earth, which I'm so excited to read. I can't even cope. This is by Eckhart Tolle, the author of The Power of Now, which I'm sure you've all heard of. And I can't believe I haven't read this book either. So it says, right now the world is filled with angry, raging egos, but there is a better way, and a new earth provides the spiritual framework for all of us to move beyond ourselves in order to make the world a better, more evolved place to live. So this is another like spiritual book. It talks about like the ego and entitlement, and like how we like focus too much on like the past or the future. My goal is to just like literally not even think about the past or the future. There's a wee fly there. And just literally be like here right now and just enjoy myself, which I feel like I do, but I'm excited to read it. This is like a really random book that I bought. Like seriously random. You're gonna be like, what the hell, Aileen? But it's The Walker's Guide to Outdoor Clues and Signs. I know, so random. Literally not like any of the other books, but you know I really enjoy being outdoors and I really love like being in nature. So I thought this would be really interesting for me to buy, because you know like that I am always like looking up at the sky and looking at the clouds and looking at the trees and stuff. So I was like, it would actually be cool if I could like look at things and enjoy them, but also like understand why they are that way, if that makes sense. It talks about the moon and stuff as well, I'm pretty sure. Where did I see that? Yeah, the ultimate guide to what the land, sun, moon, stars, trees, plants, animals, sky and clouds can reveal when you know what to look for. Like, I'm so excited to read this. Like, it seems really cool. And like, you know, I did geography in college before I dropped out, but like I'm interested in this stuff. I just don't really like talk about it. Okay, next book might seem kind of random again, but it's not. Celtic mythology, tales of gods, goddesses and heroes. I've always been really interested in mythology. I did some like mythology in college, and I was always so interested in like Irish mythology whenever I was in like primary school, whenever we read the books and stuff. So I wanted to get back into it. Like, it has stories about like Cuchulainn and all in it, and like I was always really interested in that. So I'm really excited to read this, and I think this will be a nice book to read, like just like you can pick it up, because like it just tells like a wee story at a time, you know. Is that The Children of Lear? Like, do you remember that story? I love that story, The Children of Lear. Is it? No. But yeah, I love that story. And I remember for a while there, this is really weird, but I used to listen to bedtime stories whenever I was going to sleep. Like, I know people do that actually, like Harry Styles reads them, doesn't he? But I used to listen to this guy on YouTube. Like, he used to read like the stories like about Finn McCool and like Cuchulainn and like the Children of Lear and Oisin and Tiernan Og and all. And I used to listen to them going to sleep, like, oh my god. But like, I loved it, and he did it in like a real like relaxing voice. So yeah, just always been like an interest of mine. Okay, next book is Astrology for the Soul by Jan Spiller. For the first time ever, a professional astrologer reveals the secret of her astoundingly accurate and spiritually valuable astrological readings. So I did not even read one thing about this book before I bought it. I do that a lot. Like, I just like buy books if I like the look of them and the name of them, and I'm just drawn towards them. I was really drawn towards this as soon as I saw it. I just added it to my basket. Basically, it talks about how your North Node affects your kind of like life purpose. So I, like, you know, I'm really into astrology, and like I'm really into like, I'm like, show me your bloody birth chart. Like, I want to see, tell me your big three, show me your birth chart, where's your bloody Venus placement and all. Recently I've been trying to get a more in-depth understanding of astrology and of like people's charts, because at the minute I can only like read like the basic chart. Very complicated, there's so much to it, and I'm nowhere near the level of like understanding that I would like to be at. But when I bought this book, I didn't really know what to expect. But basically she talks about like how your north node affects you, so I'm really excited to read that. I will probably read my own first. My north node is in Libra, but I'm gonna read the whole book because like obviously it goes through all the signs, and then I can like read people's charts just that little bit better. Anne Spiller talks in this book about how your north node can help you learn about your special talents, self-defeating tendencies, relationship strategies that can bring you lasting fulfillment, the trap or temptation from a past life that can lead to disaster if you don't learn to recognize it and avoid it, and the healing affirmations designed to help you release your positive energy and strengthen the qualities that bring you true happiness. I'm really interested in the past life part because when I spoke to Karen, she told me that I have brought some issues from my past lives into this life, and I've had 40 past lives apparently, so I might have a lot of issues to work through. But yeah, that is Astrology for the Soul by Jan Spiller. Oh my god, look at this pile. Like I could have put them down a wee bit neater, like, couldn't I? Okay, next book. I posted this. Oh my god, no. Okay, I know I said I'm excited to read like all of them, but I'm really excited to read this because when I posted this on Instagram, the amount of messages I got about this book was insane, like literally insane. So it's Signs, The Secret Language of the Universe by Laura Lynn Jackson. Oh, that's the same author as The Light Between Us. Okay, I'm really excited to read this. So many people were like, you need to read this book, read that one first, it is so good. So it says, a renowned psychic medium teaches us how to recognize and interpret the life-changing messages from loved ones and spirit guides on the other side. Oh, I'm really excited. Okay, so I think I will read this one and then I'll read The Life Between Us because like obviously it's the same author, so it might like coincide a little bit. So I probably won't read this for a while because there's other things that I want to read. Oh, it's so hard, isn't it? Oh, it says How to Shine Brightly, Tiny Whispers, Rainbows. Oh, this is so cute. All creatures great and small. So basically just like different signs. Oh, like how like the universe sends us little signs and stuff. So cute. I'm really excited to read this. Oh, and you know what, I'd be so excited. Like I literally be so excited to start a new book because I'm like, I can't wait to like share things with you. Like share like, you know, the way I share like my little highlighted parts and all. I'd be so excited to be like, look at this, look at what I learned. I just love it. Last book is Trapped in the Murr, which looks very scary. It's kind of awkward to talk about, but it is for people who have dealt with narcissists. And I talked to my therapist about like narcissism because I have been affected by narcissists in my life, and anyone else who has knows the struggle. It's really difficult, and I was talking to my therapist about it. It's really hard to understand them because they're so inconsistent with how they treat you. And I also like had this issue where like I convinced myself that I was a narcissist, and she was like, no, like, Aileen, you're not a narcissist. Like, but I don't know, I just convinced myself that I was. I don't know why, I don't know how, I don't know where I got that from. Probably my intrusive thoughts. But she said I would definitely recommend like you read up a bit about narcissists. So I just like went on Google and I was like, books about narcissists, and this one was like really highly rated. So I aren't that excited to read this one, but I feel like I will probably get a lot from it. So yeah, I will keep you updated on that if you are interested. Probably share some things anyway. Christ, this looks a bit heavy. Anyway, that is all the books that I got. Let me know if you have read any of them, what you thought, if you have any other recommendations of things that I should read, because I am just like on like a book craze at the moment. I'm loving it. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I'll leave all the links to the books in the description. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe because I am gonna work so hard on YouTube. I know I say that all the time and then I disappear for like a month, but I promise I actually am, because I feel like I finally figured out where I want to go with it. So please subscribe if you want, and yeah, I will see you in the next video. Bye.